Steel City. Is everybody ready to go? Let's proclaim the greatest radio show.
Welcome, fans, to another segment of The Spread. I'm your host, Jim Cella. I'm in studio with Big Easy and JDash. We're going to talk a little NFL scouting combine. I know you're feeling it, Dash. It's your favorite time of the year. This is like Christmas for you.
You're dead, bro.
You hate everything.
Where the players shine their talents.
They run around in their underwear. We're just going to talk a little bit of guys who helped their stock, a little bit of guys who hurt their stock, maybe give you some 40 times easy. You can throw some players' names out there after we talk about these guys who went up and down, and I'll hit you up with their results. But we're going to start with Vic Beasley, the defensive end from Clemson. Beasley, he was 6'3" and weighed 235 pounds as a senior, and his lack of size and bulk was a big issue. He took care of that. He weighs in at 246 pounds now. Beasley impressed everybody with a 4.53 40 at 246 pounds. The 10-yard split, he ran in 1.59 seconds. His vertical jump was 41 inches, broad jump 10 inches. That's like freak athlete there, man. Beasley was already thought to be top 10, top 15. He might have moved himself into the top 5.
Yeah, we actually had him ranked at number 8. The Falcons taking him there. And actually, at number 5, we had the Redskins taking a DN. At 6, the Jets taking a DN. At 7, the Bears taking a DN. And then the Falcons taking a DN at number 8. So maybe he can jump above at least 2 of those guys, maybe all 4.
Yeah, we had Gregory going to the Redskins, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, Gregory was thought to be the top edge rusher coming into this combine, but Beasley's freak combine results definitely put him in the conversation as the top edge rusher now. Another guy, easy, you'll relate to this guy, LSU offensive tackle Lael Collins. He's a big guy. You're a big guy. You know how big guys are all jolly. You're a happy dude, always walking around with a smile on your face. Collins' athleticism was in question when he arrived at the combine. Those questions are definitely gone. He had a good day as anyone. He's 6'4", 6'4 and a half, somewhere in that range, 305 pounds. He ran the 40 in 5.12. That's pretty good for a big guy. Collins was a left tackle for the Tigers. I don't know, though. It seems more he's going to be a better fit at the right tackle. He doesn't seem like he's going to be that... You know, I forget the guy's name, the one left tackle. He didn't even allow a sack all year long. When you got your quarterback's blind side, you want that top guy. That guy you can go out there and trust every single snap. Collins does have a couple little bit of mental lapses, it seems like, during the game. He could shore that up early in his career, but he's probably going to start off at the right side.
It seems like he has a tendency to perform better against the run than the pass too, so
right.
He's still got some work to do in that aspect of his game.
And it'll help him starting out on the right there too, because you usually line your tight end up on the right hand side. That's where a lot of teams like to run the ball. So he'll get it work early. He'll improve that run game, and the passing game will just come with time and practice, I guess.
In our mock draft, we had the Giants at number 9 taking our top lineman in Brandon Scherf, and then we had Andrus Peat as the number 2 lineman and Eric Flowers as the number 3, all ahead of Lael Collins.
Yeah, he might be able to jump 1 or 2 of them. I still don't know if he's going to be the top O-lineman taken.
Correct.
But he definitely shored up some of the questions he had going into Indianapolis. This is a guy the Steelers could be looking at, the Connecticut cornerback Byron Jones. Most people didn't know a whole lot about Jones. His broad jump, 12 feet 3 inches. That was a record at the combine. I believe that's actually longer than the world record, honestly, by 1 inch. I'm pretty sure the whole world record was 12.2, and he went 12.3. So that dude's athleticism is freakish. At 6 foot, 199 pounds. He's a big guy. He's solid against the run. He has a vertical jump of 44.5 inches, so he's going to be able to keep up with big receivers like Calvin Johnson, tall receivers that are lanky like A.J. Green, who can go up and make catches in the air. You're not allowed to hit receivers in the air anymore, so the only way to really stop those high passes is to go up with them and bat the ball down. He definitely has the athleticism to do that. He didn't run the 40-yard dash, but he did run the 20-yard dash, I believe, in 3.94 seconds or something, and the 60-yard shuttle.
Wait. That can't be right. A 20-yard dash in 3.9 seconds? That's terrible.
3.94 seconds, man. I don't know. That's what the report says.
Well, if that's what it says, it got to be wrong because people run 40-yard dashes in 4.2. You're telling me it takes the second 20 yards 0.4 seconds?
Maybe he's a freak. Maybe this report's wrong. It could be wrong. Could be a typo.
Yeah, I think it's a typo.
Could have been 2.94 seconds.
But really, the thing that scares me about him is the fact that when you don't know much about this guy before the combine, he didn't come from a big school. He played for Connecticut, obviously.
Right.
It's scary just to say, okay, now this is going to be a good player just from the combine because a lot of these skills don't translate into the game.
Oh, yeah. You're 100% right there. Easy, you've seen it a bunch of times. These guys come out, have the best combine. You know, Chris Johnson ran the fastest 40 time ever. Yeah, he had a good first 2 or 3 seasons, but did that project into a great NFL career? No.
It's almost for show. I mean,
it's another way for the NFL to sell TV, commercial, make money.
Something, yeah.
ESPN actually has an article right now talking about they're going to change how they do the combine. They're not just going to do the 40-yard dash anymore. It doesn't really make sense. They might do the 60-yard dash for receivers because it's more important how fast they run that. And for linemen, it's more important how fast they run a 20-yard dash, not a 40-yard dash.
Right. And you know something I want to see? I want to see a receiver run the 60-yard dash, and then I want to see what their time is to run the 40 right after. Because how many times in a play, you know, if you're a receiver, is your route to run straight downfield, and then on the very next play, you get the ball. So you're winded as crap, and now you're getting the ball and having to make a play. Put them in pads, too, at least like shoulder pads and shorts. It's a lot different running in a full uniform and pads than it is running around in your underwear.
I'm telling you right now, I was a lot worse wearing pads than I was just wearing regular clothes. My game definitely dropped off wearing pads. I'm telling you that.
It's tough, man. It's tough. You can't move around. Your balance gets thrown off. Those pads are moving
Especially
on you.
pads from a cheap school where I'm wearing lineman shoulder pads playing wide receiver and kick returner.
Yeah, you're trying to throw as a quarterback with freaking running back shoulder pads.
But yeah, I understand why NFL receivers don't wear hip pads, don't wear knee pads. I think they do make them wear them now.
Yeah.
But really, if I didn't have to in high school, I wouldn't have been wearing anything. I'd have just played like I would wear a helmet and roll.
Well, Byron Jones, like you said, you can't get enamored with what he does in the broad jump. I don't think he's a top corner by any means. He's definitely just helped his stock a little bit. To me, he's still more of a mid-round guy. The next guy, somebody we all thought was going to be good. I think he was our first corner coming off the board, honestly, Dash. Michigan State cornerback Trae Waynes. He was the top quarterback for most people, top guy in a lot of mock drafts. He ran a 4.3 140. He's a big guy, 6 foot, 186 pounds. People love him for his speed, not so much his physical play. I'm not saying he wouldn't be a good guy to bring into Pittsburgh, but he's not exactly the prototypical guy, easy. We know that Ike Taylor couldn't catch a cold, but he could stuff the run pretty well.
Right. With a familiar face from the Michigan State new Pitt coach.
Yeah.
You know.
Le'Veon Bell's from Michigan State.
Right. They got a couple decent players coming out of there recently, so you know the pedigree's there. You know, he was. He's been brought up properly.
And those ties, those ties mean a lot. Being able to talk to the Pitt head coach a lot easier than some of these other guys. You know, you're in the same building. Go walk down the hall and knock on his door and be like, "Hey, yo, what's the deal with this guy?" He was the defensive coordinator for Michigan State too, correct?
Yeah.
So he worked exclusively, with the defense and Trae Waynes. So he's going to be able to tell you the ins and outs. It's a lot more about their character even today than it was before, so that definitely helps out.
Listen, we had the Miami Dolphins at number 14 taking Trae Waynes, but when you look up, even as high as number 3, Jacksonville needs a corner. Well, really, Tennessee needs a corner at number 2 as well. Oakland needs a corner. That Washington could use a corner. The Jets could use a corner. He could jump up higher in this draft for sure. I wouldn't expect him in the top 5 still, though, because you don't really take corners that high in the draft.
No, most likely unless your team's kind of stupid.
I tell you what, the one I could see is the Chicago Bears at number 7. If they like him, he could go as high as number 7, I believe.
They could. I don't know. I think I might see him going to the Jets if one of the quarterbacks don't slide to number 6.
That's possible too. Really, anybody between number 2 and number 11 could use a cornerback, so he could go anywhere in the top 11 picks.
Well, our next guy we had as the second wide receiver off the board, I believe the Cleveland, Kevin White.
Yes, Kevin White, Cleveland, 12th pick overall, we said.
He's a wide receiver out of West Virginia. Easy, you should be a little more familiar with him than I am. Personally, you watch a lot more college. I know Pitt and West Virginia hate each other. The thing with White was everybody thought that he was only a fast guy. He's 6'2", 215 pounds, and ran a 4.35 40. So he's not only a fast guy, he's a really fast guy.
He's got great hands, too.
Yeah, he produced in college 91 catches, 1,207 yards, and 8 touchdowns. I like to see guys that produce in college, not guys that have a good combine.
Yeah, you want the play on the field to be what you worry about more than what they do, like we've said 100 times now in their underwear here on the field. I think this could slide White into the spot at 4 with the Raiders instead of Amari Cooper.
Slide White in.
Come on.
That's a big reach there.
Well, the one thing about it is the Raiders, don't they always get enamored with speed? Darius Hayward,
yes,
Bay,
they
love the combine. Jamarcus Russell, come on. I know he wasn't fast. I'm saying he had a good combine. But yeah, they get enamored with these things, so that's why I think that White could slide up into that spot.
The one problem with Kevin White still is the Mountaineers' offense really doesn't translate to the NFL very well. So
not at all.
You're going to see how
see
if he can learn.
That means crap to the Raiders.
That's why at number 4,
all the Raiders see is 4.35 speed.
Possibly. He'll be playing for the Steelers in 10 years.
Believe it.
Well, a guy that a lot of people didn't think could really help his stock at all, honestly, was the Florida State quarterback Jameis Winston. Everybody thought that he could only hurt himself. Quarterbacks don't usually throw at the combine. It was weird that the top 2 guys actually came in and threw. Winston, he hit his throws. The biggest thing with him, though, he impressed a lot of organizations with his interviews, with his personality, with his maturity level. They said when he walked into the room...
Which is like a joke.
Well, that's what everybody says. The big knock on Winston was he was too immature. So for him to come in there and be able to shine in the interview process says a lot to me. I don't think these organizations are just going to make this stuff up. If they really did impress him, I believe that he really was impressive.
See, here's the thing.
Is it a show? Did he just put on a good show?
I think he's just a good actor, and he's trying to get a film made.
You never know. This guy is a good quarterback. Right? I would take him before Mariota.
I think it now. Yeah, now it looks like he's the consensus number 1 overall pick. So you gotta. I mean, we're not gonna be crafty here and say, oh, they're not going to take him. We're going to do something different. Everybody says Winston's number 1. We're going to keep him as the number 1.
Now, this is what's funny. Like, all the college quarterbacks that have come out recently that have won national championships, that have been that prototypical type quarterback, I don't know, one pops into my head, Vince Young.
Mm-hmm.
His career, what?
Garbage.
Garbage.
He had a couple good years early on.
Now, you could even go Tim Tebow, maybe.
Eric Crouch. That was a little further back.
A little further back. Tim Tebow. Who else here?
Chris Winkie. That was even a little further back. Winning a Heisman doesn't mean you're going to be a good NFL quarterback.
No, Cam Newton. Cam Newton, though.
Producing.
Jamarcus Russell.
Luck
Russell. And Russell was a disappointment.
Robert Griffin III.
It seems like RG3.
That's why I don't
still out on him. It seems like it's already up against him. The odds.
The one thing I have to say about that, Easy, is the playing style of most of the guys that fizzled out were mobile quarterbacks that ran around and made plays with their feet and then their arm. Okay. Winston's a pocket passer. He's actually really slow. He ran like a 4.9 40. His vertical jump was like lower than yours.
Has a bullet arm.
The dude knows how to stay in the pocket. He moves like Ben in the pocket. He turns his hips. He moves his shoulders. He can throw with guys hanging on him. He ran an NFL-style offense in college at Florida State. He can make anticipation throws, whereas Mariota was throwing to wide-open guys. That's why I think, I'm not saying Winston's going to be a Hall of Famer or anything, but he's definitely the best quarterback in this draft, and he should be the first quarterback taken.
You just don't know if he's going to be in rehab after the end of his rookie year.
Exactly.
You just don't know.
He could
be
bleep
him
or right in the bleep.
Listen,
and
I'm not a big fan of quarterbacks in the draft unless they're surefire. Like Andrew Luck.
So
like everybody knew Andrew Luck was going to be
we
good.
didn't know Ben Roethlisberger was going to be this good.
No, we didn't. I mean, it happens.
No,
I'm
but
not saying
Ben
it doesn't
Roethlisberger
happen.
didn't stand up on the table in the lunchroom.
Yeah. And he didn't try to shove crabs down his pants. He might have had crabs in his pants, but he didn't do it on purpose.
I mean, he didn't have all that type of...
I'd rather go for, look at Drew Brees. He was actually a second-round pick. I like going for quarterbacks like that more for some reason. I just think the #1 pick overall, you're going to be paying them a ton of money to begin with. And
Not anymore, though, with the NFL rookie wage scale.
It's still money, though. You know what I mean?
They're only making a couple $100,000 a year.
But that's the thing about the NFL. These top teams that always get the first, second, third-round pick, they always need a quarterback.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's why they do it.
Yeah.
That is why they do it. And it just never seems to pan.
But the reason why they're the top team...
So
it works.
And I'm not going to quit on RG3. I'm not quitting on him yet.
No. But the reason these teams that are high in the draft need a QB is because to win in the NFL, you got to have a good QB. So that's why they keep making the mistake of reaching, because they're just hoping and praying they hit a Phillip Rivers or a Ben Roethlisberger or an Eli.
The fact is, 9 out of every 10 quarterbacks can't make it in the NFL. And you got to play them to figure out which one of those 10 are going to make it, really.
I think the bigger problem is playing them too damn early nowadays. I mean, they think they should be able to start day one after coming out of a spread offense in college to an NFL style. Mariota
Aaron Rodgers.
That's
a different situation. I don't think
that was too long. You don't have to wait 5 years.
But I don't necessarily think having a guy sit. Well, you'd think having a guy sit a whole year
to learn the offense while you're watching.
It's
know?
not
to
just
learn while you're watching is gonna help.
It's learning how to.
You think it does?
It's learning how to command a team. You're
you play
you're
in
the
practice
general
too.
out there.
Practice isn't soft.
You need to see how the starting quarterback carries himself in and out of the huddle, how they help the teammates, how they tell everybody what their job is. You got to know everything about every position out there.
So that goes against everything that, like, when you draft, let's say Jameis goes #1. They want him to play
day one
right off the bat.
Yeah, you better believe it. They want him to. I just don't think it's the right decision. Ben Roethlisberger would have not played that first year.
What we're trying to say is it's probably never the right decision to have a rookie quarterback
day one
come in, unless you're like Andrew Luck, I guess.
I mean
Manning.
Manning even
but Manning had a terrible year his first year.
Yeah, it still helped him. He still became a better player.
If your team was like that is garbage, 2-14. If you don't even have a backup who was the backup in Indy? Curtis Painter or something like that? Yeah, you throw Luck in there.
That's why I think Derek Carr.
Wasn't it?
Derek Carr isn't the worst quarterback in the world, but I don't think he'll ever be considered a good quarterback. I mean, there's a lot of quarterbacks in NFL history that we could be looking at in a totally different light that have played on a different team. Derek Carr for the Raiders.
He didn't have a bad year, though, did he?
But he's not going to get any better than what he did.
But what team is he on?
The Raiders. So he has to get it done with the Raiders, and I don't believe a Raiders.
They're not going to put
as good as Jameis is. Could he get it done with Tampa Bay?
Tampa Bay has Mike Evans and Vincent Jackson on the outside. Austin Seferian-Jenkins at tight end.
Right, ASJ.
They got a couple young running backs. The Muscle Hamster.
Okay, so it's looking good, and then he stays in Florida.
Yeah, he loves
It's going to
Florida.
be. I hope he don't end up in rehab.
I agree. I like Jameis.
I don't think there was any problem.
I'm not going to say I like him.
I don't know. When I tend to think from him, I kind of like the guy.
I tend to think, when you know the spotlight's on you, why are you so stupid?
He's
I don't
young,
care
man.
if you're 18 years old or not. It just
when we
you
were
know
18,
the spotlight's
we were
on
stupid.
you, man. Keep it together.
So you think
keep it together till you get that money?
Do you think
and then go wild out?
Derek Carr's the answer for Oakland?
Yeah.
You think
right now he's the answer? Yeah.
Well, do you think he's going to be a good enough quarterback to lead them to a Super Bowl? Because that's the only thing that matters.
If they put pieces around him, I can see him winning a playoff game.
The thing,
if Tim Tebow can win a playoff game, Derek Carr can win a playoff game, and magic can make magic happen.
But that's what I was saying. There's a lot of quarterbacks in NFL history that we could be looking at totally differently if they just played for a different team.
Yeah. Well, it's just like, getting back to like he was saying, it shocked me that he even threw it to combine.
Especially when you're already considered the number 1 overall pick.
Right.
Makes no sense. But he got through it with flying colors.
Well, there's a couple people that I think hurt their stock that we talked about in our mock draft. One is TCU linebacker Paul Dawson. The big thing with Dawson is he didn't look very athletic at all. If he has a good pro day on March 27th, that might help out. But he had an awful 40 time at 4.81. His vertical jump was pretty lackluster. He was in the middle range with bench reps. When you were considered the best linebacker coming out of the draft, maybe even the best defensive player coming out of the draft, you got to have a better performance. We just said a couple minutes ago, it's not everything in the combine, but you can hurt your stock. I don't know.
We actually had Paul Dawson as a consideration for a late first-round pick, but now after this combine, I'm wondering if he's even thought of as a second-round pick now.
If he fixes everything in his pro day and comes out and runs a normal 40 time and gets all these squared away, he'll be fine because his play on the field in college was great. Nobody's doubting that. I don't think he's going to slide anywhere past the second round at the furthest. He just may not be the first linebacker taken off the board now. Another guy we had, Devin Funchess. We can't say this dude's name, but we had the Patriots taking him with a 32nd pick. He's out of Michigan. He started his career as a tight end and moved to wide receivers, so he never really was the fastest guy. But he clocked in at just 4.7 in the 40, which is really, really disappointing for a wide receiver. He does create a matchup problem because he's 6'4" and 232 pounds, hence why he used to be a tight end. But a 40 time at 4.7, you're looking more like 4.5. You don't want a wide receiver who runs 4.7. Remember that Matt Jones or whatever his name was, the quarterback? I think he was out of Arkansas.
Guy was fantasy prodigy.
Everybody is so enamored over this guy's talent and his combine, and he's big and fast. He was garbage.
Yeah, he came in the league and performed until he started blowing cocaine.
We're talking about a guy who, what you said 6'4", I have him here listed at 6'5", 230 pounds. He's a tight end / receiver. Listen, Gronk isn't that fast. It's not like Gronk burns down the field.
Right.
So who knows? This guy's big. If he can be a flexed out tight end, I mean, he could be a decent player still.
If they use him as a flexed out tight end, yeah, but you don't want this guy on the outside trying to run down the field on a fly route.
Well, maybe sometimes, but no, not necessarily. But, I mean, as a flexed out tight end, it sounds like I wouldn't think this guy's supposed to be fast anyways.
Or he's not fast, so you don't have to expect him to be. He slows balls.
It's all right. He'll be
I'm
all right.
faster than this dude. Another guy we got here is Miami linebacker Denzel Perryman. Perryman hits a ton, and he's a throwback type of linebacker, but he's only 5'10", so that kind of bothers a lot of people. James Harrison's short, so you can't say that all short linebackers are garbage. Harrison's only about 6 foot. Sometimes that might help him. If you're 5'10", we've seen Harrison get that hook with the tackle's arm and get put in a headlock how many times coming around the corner. This dude could just duck right under that and whoop right under. But his 40 time was kind of slow at 4.78. And you're not going to say a 40 time's a determining factor for a linebacker because Shazier ran, a 4.3 something last year, and he didn't have a great
And this guy's more
first
physical.
season.
This guy's a very physical player. We had him late in the first round going 30 to the Packers, and this will probably project him to go down into the second round, but I still expect him to be a pretty decent player.
Right, but they just got rid of A.J. Hawk, so they're looking to try to fill that position.
Right.
But Nardrick McKinney ran a 4.66, and he's almost 5 inches taller. So I think McKinney is going to go definitely before Perryman. So easy, you're right. Green Bay will probably be looking for linebacker help. May not be Perryman, though.
Right.
Well, as of right now, we had McKinney already off the list, and then Perryman as the next inside linebacker to go. So it's possible Green Bay could still select him there, but they might also have the chance of getting him in the second round now.
Yeah, and if they lose Randall Cobb at wide receiver, they may try to get one of the wide receivers in the first round and then go after him in round 2.
Dorial Green Beckham.
Well, the last guy I had issues with is Washington linebacker Shaq Thomas. Dash, you had Thomas as a possible safety, correct?
Yeah, he more of a linebacker, but he did play some safety. but he's expected to be a linebacker, I believe.
Well, he can't play safety with his 4.6, 440, so that's not very good. His vertical jump, 33.5. That's really bad. There's guys jumping 43.5, 42.5. You got to be more athletic if you want to play safety. Now, for linebacker, he seems like a pretty athletic linebacker.
We actually ranked this guy higher in the draft than most other people. Most thought he was a late round pick. We actually had him at 21 with the Cincinnati Bengals, but now it looks like there's no chance of him even staying in the first round.
Yeah, I mean, unless he has a pro day where he can fix all these and impress teams a little better. He may have done better in the interview process, and teams just aren't talking about that. They don't release all that information all the time.
With a name like Shaq, I doubt it.
Yeah, probably not. So, I mean, he cost himself a couple $1 million, honestly. The one thing I'm going to say is the edge rushers lived up to their billing in this combine. We all knew this crop was terrific. It was reaffirmed with some great numbers in just about every test. Beasley, Fowler, Jr., Gregory, Dupree, they all had good combines. They all solidified themselves, most likely all in the first round. I think we had all these guys going in the first round. People need edge rushers, man. With the passing game, this
got to get to
going crazy in the NFL.
Got to.
It's not all about the best defensive backs. If you can get to the quarterback, you disrupt the passing game way more than if you have good defensive backs.
It makes Ike Taylor a Pro Bowler.
One you didn't even mention is a guy I really like in Shane Ray from Missouri too. That's another guy that could go very high in the draft.
One thing is a question mark. We had Todd Gurley going to San Diego. Is that correct?
Yeah, San Diego at 17, yes.
People are afraid Gurley's stock is dropping a little bit. They say he needs a second look. His ACL rehab doesn't seem to be going as well as everybody thought it would be. They don't think he'll be back nearly as quick as he could be. This was a bad injury, so I don't know. Gurley may slip to third round.
Well, it reminds me of Eddie Lacy with the Packers. Everyone's saying, oh, no, don't take this guy. He got that foot injury. Packers say, you know what, screw you, I'm taking him. And he turned out to be a beast. So the same thing could end up happening to Gurley, too, and someone could get a steal.
Well, who did we have the Steelers taking at 22? Kevin Johnson?
Kevin Johnson out of Wake Forest. Solid cover corner.
He had a pretty good combine, nothing special. Pretty much right where everybody thought he would be. Definitely somebody I could still see the Steelers taking. Obviously it all depends after this combine. Things are going to get mixed up. Teams are going to have players will have their pro day. Things will get mixed up. We'll probably do 2 or 3 more mock drafts. But I found an article here. A couple guys the Steelers could be looking at. Their combines didn't go as well as they thought it would. Wasn't particularly bad. But outside linebacker Nate Orchard out of Utah, he recorded 18.5 sacks in 2014. He only ran a 4.8 40 in the 40-yard dash, but he is 6'3", 250 pounds. He had a 31.5-inch vertical leap. The 40 time, it doesn't always mean everything. We've said it now 4 times.
Sleeper.
If you could get this guy in a late round, if he's projected high, we could use some help at outside linebacker. We need edge rushers. We have Jarvis Jones on our roster right now, and that's about it.
That's what I've been saying, man. We need outside linebackers as well.
One need the Steelers definitely have is running back position, not for a starter, maybe a backup behind Le'Veon. We have nothing behind him. We've seen how bad it hurt us in the playoff game against Baltimore. A guy the Steelers could look at is TJ Yeldon out of Alabama. They're not going to draft a running back high because they have so many more needs. Yeldon could last till around the 5th round because there's a lot of depth in the running back position. He's an Alabama running back. The Crimson Tide run a great offense. They run a pro-style offense. Nick Saban knows what he's doing. He may be a douchebag, but he runs a great program down there. Yeldon only ran a 4.6 140 at the Combine, but he was a highly productive back. He played in a lot of big games. That means something, man. It just, you playing at these small schools doesn't always mean you can, compete at the NFL level with all this pressure. You can do all as good as you want, in these underwear Olympics. Yeldon's played big games. He knows what it takes to play for a guy who demands a lot out of you. This could be a good 5th, 6th round pick for Pittsburgh.
We'll have to see. I'm sure there's a lot of guys they're looking at, and it's hard to say right now, but this is definitely a decent option, it looks like. Gotta love Alabama players.
Yeah, so many of them come out.
Trent Richardson was a beast.
Yeah, it was. That's the only problem. Well, that wraps up our Combine segment. Next week, we're going to have another mock draft, the Spread 2.0. Dash, thank you for coming in. Easy, thanks for sitting in with us. Fans, thank you for listening. You guys can follow us on Twitter at bet_the_spread. Follow me at betjimthewin. Follow Easy at
Steel Digital.
You guys can like us on Facebook. Subscribe to that YouTube channel. Give us a thumbs up.
You hate.
We debate.
Spread them.